Think of a dog chillaxing in your living room, in their bed, and let's call that state neutral, where the dog is comfortable. Now, they can go to the right or to the left on my wheel. So let's assume that you are walking through the house and your comfortable dog sees you or hears you pick up a set of car keys. And that comfortable state immediately goes to interested. And they might get out of the bed and start following you because, hey, I like car rides. So they're interested. Now, if you then go and grab their Frisbee, now they're happy. You might see the tail start going and the ears are on the top of their head. And if you go back to podcast episode number 4, you can recognize all the TEMP, the temp of the dog's body. They're telling you what their emotions are. Once you get towards the car, they might start vocalizing and whining because they've gone from happy up to the next stage, excited. And when they're driving in the car, that excitement gets amped up. And maybe when you go out to play some Frisbee, they have now officially redlined. They are overexcited. They are at a state where their focus is narrowed. They don't know what they're doing. And you go to throw the Frisbee, they might jump up and bite you in the hand accidentally. You might get bit because they're so focused on the game. They're so overexcited that they just make a lunge for the Frisbee and they might get you. Or let's say another dog comes by, and normally if they meet other dogs, they're fine, but they might turn and just snap at that other dog because they're so focused on this game. All right. So redlining is, if you go back to episode number 86, where I talked about the arousal curve, redlining is a dog who is so overexcited, they actually are over-aroused and they can't think properly. Now let's go to the other side of that circle. Now here we have a dog, let's say they're walking down the street and they're neutral, they're comfortable. I'm walking, I'm not really thinking of anything. I like walking with my moms, everything's cool. And then they see possibly another dog up ahead and they're not sure if it's a dog, so they're cautiously curious. I don't know if I know, is that a dog? I'm not. So they're not maybe going to be wagging their tail as much. They're going to be being alerted. And then they go, okay, yeah, that actually is a dog. And so they go from cautiously curious to suspicious. And here they might start a little bit of a growl. Oh, I'm not sure about this. What's going on up there? Then this dog might look back at them. Now they're worried. So they go into a state of being anxious, okay? Now the dog gets closer. Now what if that dog maybe starts posturing towards them? Now they go from anxious to afraid. And when they're afraid, they are redlining. But when they're anxious, just like a dog who's really excited, they're getting very, very close to redlining. And so if you take a dog in that state and they growl, maybe it doesn't have to be a dog, it could be a child that they see. And at first they're going, well, what's that? I've never seen a little human before. They're cautiously curious. And then the little human starts moving in these really weird, fanatic ways. And now they're suspicious. Oh, that's not normal. I've never seen anything move like that. And now the child starts squealing. And now they're anxious. They might open mouth, start their eyes. You can see the whites of their eyes. They start stress panning. Now, if that child comes near them, they might get afraid. All right. And if you said to them that's anxious might have started growling at the kid or the other dog. And if you said, hey, don't do that. You sit. What are you doing? They're probably not going to sit. Just like the dog who's redlining, if you ask them to sit, they're not going to sit. I can't hear anything. Because when that dog is afraid, their emotions are saying, you just have to act. You can't process any information that's coming in through your brain. And so people will look at this dog and go, you're not listening, and they'll get mad at the dog, or they'll say, you're being spiteful, you're being stubborn, you're looking at that dog and you want at that dog, you're being stubborn, you're not listening to me. Emotions paralyze your dog. Remember, if you believe like I believe, that our dogs always do the best they can with the education we've given them in the environment that we're asking them to perform. If you believe that, then you aren't going to get angry at your dog when they say, I can't. You might look around and go, there's nothing to be afraid of. It's just a dog. You've seen dogs before. Just like, as I've said previously on this podcast, that reinforcement is in the brain of the learner. Any other emotion, fear, is in the brain of the learner. It's not up to us to say what our dog should and shouldn't be afraid of. It's them telling us with their body what they are afraid of. And it's our responsibility to acknowledge that and go, hey, buddy, I got your back.